it is the non-dual perspective. Yeah, it's a study of philosophy. Yeah, coming directly from the Upanishads. I mean, this is an ancient thing. As a means of instruction, is an aspect of the teachings, the non-dual perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And it's in all the teachings.
Mm-hmm.
In the West, we have done of Advaita a great deal, like it is the cream of the cream.
Yeah,
But this is because we are very rational beings, and we have in the West we have this. So the Advaita apparently is the answer, but in reality it's not the answer. Advaita is just an aspect of nature. It's an excellent vehicle through which you can explain how manifestation happens through the apparent polarities of opposites, and how the self is not limited by those descriptions. So it's a way of reaching the absolute through the rejection of the opposites.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so it adapts very well to the Western mind.
Okay.
But it's nothing more than that.
So that sort of almost answers a question I half formed, which I was referring to earlier, which is you were born in South America, pre-Christian. That's why I mentioned the Christian aspect. It's considered the land of shamans, of worshipping nature deities, of what would probably be called in the cultured West primitivism or something. This very earthy, primitive in inverted commas, religion.
Yes.
And then I was going to sort of point to Christianity along the way, being in the middle somewhere, and then this very high, in, as you say, Western terms, form of mysticism, spirituality, advaita. And I was thinking of that as like a journey from the jungles to the hills of Arunachala, if you like. And I don't know what you feel about that when I paint that picture.
Well, no, I understand that it could be seen as Advaita something more something superior, if you like, than other traditions. But it's an illusion. I mean, there is Advaita in every tradition. There is Advaita in devotion, and there is devotion in Advaita. You can't separate nature in different ingredients and say this is it. You can't separate. Understand? So it's like, I don't think Advaita movement is something much more superior to approach truth than the path of love. Because if your heart is completely open, you have absolute sense of awareness of the self, and you don't have to be bothered with the study of the opposites.
Okay, so that path of love could be considered Jesus. What about shamanism?
Well, yes, it's the same. What happens is that with shamanism, there is a withdrawal of attention from the individuality of the. It's not that it happens like that. There is an avoidance of the crystallization of the individuality in our minds by belonging to nature and the elements.
What is an avoidance?
The living with awareness with the movement of nature, which is the living in connection with the different elements.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, makes our minds dynamic in such a way that our own image never crystallizes as an individual.
I see. Which is a bit like non-duality, maybe.
Exactly. So you never reach the level of separation you reach when you're not connected with nature, and therefore you don't need Advaita to find out back that you've never been disconnected.
You're already there.
Yes.
That's why it's called primitivism.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you go to teach Advaita to someone who lives connected with nature, they will look at you. They will give you a plate of food, or they will feel sorry for you. They say, "He's so confused, poor man."
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So if you like, the philosophy of Advaita is very useful for our experience of being extremely separate and extremely lonely in our individuality.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
which is the outcome of being disconnected with where the moon is now and
Mm-hmm.
what happens with the water that we drink, and yeah, or yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then, because we have no flow of connection with the elements and with our immediate environment, we grow into into an inner thought level existence, which is based on the individuality, in a way that it becomes extremely compact and crystallized,
Right.
and it blinds us from
Okay.
the connections with the world and the universe. You understand? And then that suffocates us, and then we start searching for what's wrong with us.
So in that picture, Advaita isn't so much a high; it's just an extreme rather than high.
Yeah.
It's out there somewhere. But
Yeah. And lately a fashion.
Yeah, because it's necessary for us.
Apparently,
because
everybody
we're particularly isolated or something.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people just read about Advaita, and because it's just it's a lovely approach, and it's an aspect of Jnana Yoga. Yeah, you study the process of the ego or the mind, the individual mind, the jiva. Yeah. And Advaita is something that will clarify you, so you don't get bothered with concepts that are irrelevant, so you reach deeper and deeper the essence of the self with your own attention. So you basically withdrawing attention from labels, and in that sense Advaita is quite efficient.
Yeah.
But of course that needs to be understood. And again, as we began in our dialogue, for it to be understood, there needs to be a connection sense.
Yeah.
Because then from experience of connectiveness, then Advaita is clear. But if there is no experience of connectiveness, Advaita is another chess game that can never end, and that can lead to premature conclusions that leave the individual in a jail again, because you understand, because it's not as simple as it appears. It's a comprehensive process, the process of reaching our own self.
So we can have realizations if we pursue non-dual philosophies, but they're not necessarily going to free us.
Oh no, not necessarily. Well, it's not that they won't free us. They won't let us be free. Different things.
Yeah.
You understand? You're already free.
Yeah.
The Advaita won't free you, or nothing will free you.
Yeah.
The thing is that for you to be free, you need to flow within all what you're contained in the human condition. And that is reason, Advaita, love, devotion, karma, right attitude, sense of duty and service. They're all conditions that we have and we need to fulfill. You can't just pick up one and say, well, this is it. I'm going to take care of that one, and then I'm free. So what happened with Advaita is that although it's a very important part of the scriptures, and it's a very interesting study of the mind, it has the potential danger of apparently being the way, and in reality there are many things left in the ink pot, you see, like I say, and you arrive to very immature conclusions sometimes.
So it could be quite dry, it could be too much philosophy, or...
Oh yes,
obviously.
Yes, there's that what I say that needs to be in a communication. Needs to be present for Advaita to be efficient. And that connection, it's not part of Advaita. It's what Advaita highlights, but it's not